I want to speak directly to the height issue. I'm an old man, 73, pushing 73. I'm 5 feet 3.5 inch. Labeled short, fat, and dumpy. I have a big moon face, big gross features, and a Humpty Dumpty head. I've been called dwarf, troll, gnome. I've been busted by every kind of insult it's possible for a man to take. I want to make mention of the fact beyond any shadow of a doubt, no matter what anybody tells you. The short beta male, like myself, it's open season. Now I'm an old man. But the height is a pandemic problem. It's not addressed, but it's a major problem. The little shorty, they have to catch him when he's young. Genetically, he's going to be a little shorty with no appearance and no personality predicated on the phenotype, which is everything. Your social performers, the other social actors in the arena, can judge you on. It's your presentation, what I'm talking about. It's your posture, your physical conditioning, your any deformities, gross features, big face, big head, big nose. E.T., I've been called E.T. because of my widespread eyes. And I'm here to tell you beyond any shadow of a doubt, there's no doubt in my mind, verbal insults, mockery, disrespect, can't stand. It has to be rooted out. That malignancy has to be excised immediately when the offense happened, where it happened, how it happened. Don't let the malignancy live a life of its own. It's called Hammersmith's out. Nip it in situ. Get it fast, whatever it takes. Now the problem is you have to be in tremendous shape to do it. Physically, mentally strong, great assertiveness skills, tremendous physical presence. This means muscle quality, but functional muscle. I'm not talking about your bodybuilding muscle head. I'm talking about brute strength, physical strength that translates in the real world, that translates in a conflict situation where chingazos are moments away from being thrown. It's chingazo time. That means the fists are coming up. Somebody's going to take a swing. You have to anticipate that and be ready. You need street smart, street fighting techniques to survive out there and feel a sense of security and power within yourself. You can't get this at a Tony Robbins. You can't pay Tony Robbins $5,000 per person for a Date with Your Destiny seminar. And get this through the group psychology mesmerism. It's not going to work. It'll work there because you're picking up the energy of a house. Everybody, once you've invested $5,000 in a 6-day seminar, you're going to say it's tremendous. Nobody wants to be a fool. You put your money, you're going to say it's tremendous. Tony knows that. He knows how to market it, how to set it all up. But let him talk to a man like me. Let him talk to a man like me, who sees through that bullshit. But on the other hand, Tony Robbins represents a mistake a lot of us make. He's a very accessible, marketed hero figure. He's going 6'6" or 6'7". He's a giant, close to being a cretin. He has a he won the genetic lottery. I don't fault him for that. There's nothing to do about it. We have to deal with the hand we've been dealt. There's no way to get around that, or we're going to have problems. So, you take the women's situation, for example. The little beta male, the little shorty like me, we have to start with the premise. I could never have that. This eliminates the subjective sentiments. It eliminates any notions of entitlement, fair play. It eliminates all of that. And we come to the situation with realistic, practical, street smart, real world, proven and testable expectations. But, now get this, I'm not saying once the little beta male, like me, says I could never have this, this means I'm referring here to the beta woman, to the alpha woman, the alpha woman, or even the beta woman, because your alpha male, your obnoxious boot jock, is going to horn in on that too, for the action, under the sense of sexual tension and sexual urgency. I defy anybody. If you have counter-argument and counter-evidence, show it to me. Show it to me. Show me what you got. If you got counter-argument, counter-evidence to what I'm saying, if you think what I'm saying is, this is just some old, stupid old man mouthing off that doesn't know what he's talking about, show it to me. Give me argument. Give me evidence. And be ready to be challenged, because I am resolved not to let anything slide in this arena. And I've been in the arena. I've been busted in that arena. And I'm telling you, the beta male, little short, small male who doesn't have access, he's the pariah. He has to work his way. You've all heard about positive thinking. No. Negative thinking is preliminary to any positive thinking. And what do I mean by that? The little beta male has to, with no appearance and no personality, has to work his way through 500 yards of pure, putrefying shit to see the light of the tunnel. What does that mean? He's got to fight his way through the resistances. If you're a Tony Robbins fanatic, addict, you can say the anchoring. I call them the engrams. But however you want to call it, that's the negative input. That's the negative suggestions that the little shorty picks up correctly from his own phenotype, temperament, conditioning, very important, and the environment. The environment, in many cases, overpowers biology. That's why I suggest, I know the ego has to be a dictatorship of the ego, not the id. And Freud was about strengthening the ego. He's misunderstood. A lot of people have read Freud, misunderstand what he's saying. Freud was for empowering the ego. The ego must be in control. The ego must be in control of the sexual urgencies in whatever form they take. That means the greed, power. When I'm using sexual urgencies, I'm not referring specifically to the sexual act. You understand that? I'm talking in general. Let's get that straight. The ego must be in control of it. Such must the discipline and maturity be. All of this must be based on a street smart, honed, proven philosophy. You can see the difference in what I'm saying. And by the way, what I'm saying has nothing to do with any spiritual, bogus spiritual magic. Totally different from what Tony Robbins is talking about. Now, Tony Robbins has made multi-millions doing this, but he can afford to do this. His genetics, he won the genetic lottery. The fact of the matter is, if Malcolm X, who went 6'4", if he was my height, 5'3", who would listen to him in the black community? Let's be honest, man. If you don't, what my point is very simple. The physical presence is everything. The physical presence is everything. You take Adolf Hitler. Hitler was always backed up by a contingency of 100 elite SS. And the SS had to be over 5'11". And he had at his side, at all times, Big Otto. Otto was the finisher. This was a big brute of a man. Something like Tony Robbins. And in a negotiation, Hitler would say, I'm through talking. He'd say to an adjutant, go get Otto. I'm through talking. Walk softly, but carry a big stick. Everything begins with respect. That's what I like the martial arts. Before the fight begins, it's imperative that each man bow to the other man to show respect, and then we go to war. But we show respect to begin with, very important. When I'm attacked in wanton abandon and I am disrespected by physical intimidation, by verbal abuse, by aggressive presentation of alleged facts, by an overwhelming surprise Pearl Harbor attack. I can't stand. If I let it stand, I'm a victim. And the responsibility for being a victim is me. What am I saying? Only you, my friend. The beta male I'm talking to, little beta male. Only you can stop being a victim. When do you say no? When do you say, I draw a line, no more, doesn't get past this, regardless of what happens? And I've got to say, I'm the one who has the experience to back up every word I'm saying. I've been down that track. Give you an example. As an 11-year-old child, listen to this story. I lived in a tough area in the Bronx. I was slapped in my face. I can't remember what the incident was. This son of a bitch slapped my face. This man slapped my face. And I cried to my mama. I was only about 11 years old, 10 years old, whatever. And I cried to my mama. And my mama would not countenance that type of bullshit. She was my protector. I was a sissy. I was a mama's boy. I couldn't hide enough under my mama's apron strings. And my mama confronted this bully, this asshole, this idiot. And he got embarrassed by a woman hitting him with the truth of what he'd done. So what does he do? The next time he sees me, he gives me a chocolate cow. And what does the little sissy do? That's me. Mama, I'll take another slap in my face for another chocolate cow. Get the point? You get the point of what I'm talking about? This is tough stuff that needs to be said, and I'm the one to say it. A man has to stand for something. You have to live with yourself, my friend. And a lot of us are trained to be nice little boys. Mind your mama. Be good boy. Behave yourself. I went to a dance at the 92nd Street YMHA in the old days in Manhattan. Listen to this story. And they had the roof dancers. And of course, everybody was dancing. Everybody, Obnoxious Brute Shock, the alphas, were getting to Dirty Boogie out on the dance floor. They got to make out, and the little betas watched in envy. And when I went in to pay my money to get into the dance, we looked forward to the dance. If I could get one fast dance, my night was made. And the guy at the desk, he knew me. And I was one of the shortest on the dance floor, of course. And he said, "Are you going to be a good boy tonight?" "Yes, sir. Yes, sir," I told him. "Are you going to make your mama proud tonight?" Yes, sir. Yes, sir." "You won't do anything that will bring shame to your mama?" "Yes, sir. Yes, sir." And he looked at me, and he looked at the action going on the dance floor, such as I described. Dirty Boogie, all kinds of things going on that dance floor, which is normal. And he said, "If you are a good boy, you're crazy." And what I should have, sir, physically, skill-wise, I have no choice. If I behave like the Obnoxious Brute Jock, the tough guys around the neighborhood, you know what I'm talking about, around the Bronx, Brooklyn, come to the dances, I would have been crushed like a bug. I was a cockroach of a man. I would have been stomped on and crushed. Now, it takes somebody like me who has the cojones to look this situation directly in its face and call it by its name and identify it and go into exact detail to demonstrate my credibility for shooting my mouth off. And some of you could say, who in the hell is this damn fool, this drunk fool of an old man, this ugly old man talking like this? Who am I? It takes, and it's not like Tony Robbins in that documentary, I Am Not Your Guru. You kill the boy and the man comes out in a horrific display of machismo that he did that display with this man on the documentary. Horrific display. The lion and the lamb fable, myth. And he humbled him and yelled in his face, old Marine Corps tactic, old street tactic, to try to desissify the man. Of course it doesn't work. It was bullshit then. It's bullshit now. That's not the way you go about doing it. You humiliate a man, this giant, this idiot, this clown, Tony Robbins, physically intimidating a man in that way. You can't defend that to me in no way. If you can, try it. I'll challenge you. I'll take you to hell and back. Try it. If you can defend that, kill the boy. Man comes out. What kind of nonsense is that? Tony Robbins, it takes years of working with the past facing the issues of the past for the man to be born. And how in the hell, Tony Robbins, you tell me, Tony Robbins, how does a boy develop into a man in 15 minutes by your intervention, by your awesome, powerful breakthrough? How in the hell does that happen? How did he go that quickly from a boy to a man if the ground wasn't set by a lot of hard work by that boy? And I know what I'm talking about because I've walked the walk. Has gone through 500 yards of pure, putrefying, rotting shit to get to the end of that tunnel. That he's questioned himself. That he's done the hard groundwork to get set for the breakthrough. How does it happen, Tony Robbins? And if you're going to give me a spiritual explanation, I'm going to stand on a chair and yell in your face. Cock-a bullshit, Tony. Cock-a bullshit. Prove it to me. I'm from Missouri. I don't see anybody standing up. Why is it important to stand up to someone like Tony? Because of what he represents. The king of the self-help, success, quote-unquote, gurus is Tony Robbins. In philosophy we say, for example, if you refute a Kant or Hegel, you've gone right to the top, or a Marx, you've gone to the top. If you refute a minor philosophy, you haven't done anything. You go to the top. You get the Maha, which is the boss in charge. You go to him and you refute him. You've done something important. The predicament that I'm talking about. Let's talk about the past, present, and future. A lot of people tell me they want to let the past die. Let the past die. Forget about the past and live in the present. There's no present without a past. If I took the past away from you, if I could reach into your brain and snatch the past away from you, no memory of the past, no recall of the past, who would you be? What would the present be like? What kind of a future could you project? What I'm saying is there is a very complex, real relationship between the past, present, and the future. They are intermingled. One cannot exist without the other two. It's impossible to forget the past. It's impossible to lull the past. You can't do it. If you can, show it to me. Make me an argument. Provide me the evidence. Prove it to me. I'm from Missouri. Show me. This is tough stuff, but it has to be said. I'm the one to say it. It has to be said by somebody like me who's gone down that track. I've been broken by every kind of insult that's possible for a man to get hit with. There's nothing any clown can say to me that I haven't heard before. My mistake was in the past, I turned cheek to it. I trained myself to be a good absorber, to be a nice guy, to be a good guy, to make me mama proud. I did all this confessedly because I felt bad for my height, which was uncompensated for. And then what do? You identify with hero figures. I identified with Rocky Marciano, with his indomitable will in the ring, and his great trainer, Charlie Goldman. Little Charlie, they called him. I identified, of all people, this social clown, Elvis Presley. And in my child's mind, Elvis could do everything, man. Ooh, if I could only be Elvis. All the women come to me. Ooh, if I could. So we try to vicariously pretend we're all Elvises. You believe this? We couldn't wait around the boulevard, Southern Boulevard in the Bronx in the 50s for a new Elvis record, new 45 to come out. And we all tried to swagger like the king. Well, come to find out, we didn't know that at that time. The king had clay feet. There was no king. There's just a genetically pretty boy who knew how to market it with the help of the colonel. Sounds like Trump, don't it? It sounds like the big Donald, who is nothing but a Pillsbury doughboy, muscling up in a fancy biryani black suit with nothing to back it up, just bluster, and propped up by slick marketers and spinners. Nothing but a bunch of bullshit generals and a posture of strength. Saw a picture of Vladimir Putin without his shirt on. When you see both of these clowns, imagine both of these clowns, Vladimir, both strong man. Both strong man, and that strong man machismo bullshit. But if you saw both of them without their shirts on, Vladimir has gynecomastia, tits. Let's put it that way, man boobs. But he's a judo man. He's short like me, but he'd knock Trump on his fat ass in a second as a judo man. And you take Trump. Trump's a big fat boy with glowering fat on his belly, on his boobs, man boobs, just like Vladimir Putin. But these two clowns muscle up in a suit, don't they? And stick their chests out. Hitler correctly wrote in Mein Kampf, everybody, it's called the strong man principle and the inscrutable will. He was the best at it. And he was a little guy. So was Stalin. But I'll bet you anything, if you came up to Vladimir Putin and say, "How you doing, little man?" you won't remain standing long. I guarantee it. Stalin always stood on a pedestal, so he can look down on his subordinates. Stalin was very conscious of his height. Truman called him a pipsqueak. Can you imagine that? Man would have to be an idiot. One of these height fascist assholes would have to be an idiot to come up to Stalin and say, "How you doing, little man?" and expect to leave with his life dead on the spot. And if I was in a position of power like that, I would react the same way. But it takes power to defend yourself. It takes power to defend yourself. It takes presence. It takes will. It takes training. And so we get back to the little beta male. And this is my point for saying all that. You grab that beta male at 8, 9, 10 years old, and you give him discipline. That's where the father comes in. You train him to be self-sufficient and self-reliant, one tough son of a bitch. Because the world out there for the little beta male is a tough, hard motherfucker out there. There's no way to get her to soft soap that. And if you think I'm wrong, give me argument and evidence.